Imagine thick mangrove forests where thousands of bird species nest and schools of colourful fish dart among twisted roots. This is what the Red Sea coast looked like half a century ago. But as so often happens, human greed proved stronger than care for nature. In just a few decades, cities, industrial waste and searing heat swallowed up the once vibrant mangroves, leaving only barren land where a paradise had thrived. It seemed the story was over. How could something nature had nurtured for millennia ever be brought back to life? Against all odds, though, the world gave humanity a second chance, and this time people used it. But who exactly helped bring life back to dying land? Let us find out. The destruction began back in the 1950s. Once green mangrove corridors stretched in an unbroken line from Tabuk to Najran along the entire Red Sea coast. Rapid urbanisation steadily destroyed the living wall. Ports, roads and new cities broke the continuous green belt. The consequences were tragic. More than half of the forest disappeared forever. What was once a mighty mangrove landscape was reduced to scattered patches. Today they cover no more than 135 square kilometres, divided into 5,000 tiny fragments. The Red Sea turned into a real test for vegetation. In summer the water heats up to 30 degrees Celsius, and the salinity rises above 40 parts per thousand, making it feel more like brine than seawater. Mangroves were literally suffocating in these conditions. They had to spend all their energy fighting salt and searching for drops of fresh moisture, instead of growing new shoots and producing offspring. The final blow came from oil pollution. Heavy metals and toxic compounds turned fertile silt into a poisonous desert where life simply could not hold on. Every lost patch became a threat to the entire ecosystem. The root system served as a natural shield, protecting the coastline against destructive storms and tsunamis. On top of that, these trees were champions at capturing carbon dioxide. Their ability to trap greenhouse gases was several times greater than ordinary forests, helping slow down climate change. Mangrove thickets served as nurseries of marine life. Tiny fish grew within their shelter, shrimp and crabs found refuge there, and the foundations of the entire food chain were laid. Among the survivors, only the toughest species kept fighting. Avicennia marina released roots into the air that looked like a diver's breathing tubes. Another giant of endurance, Rhizophora mucronata, built root fortresses stronger than concrete structures. Its interwoven roots created an impressive barrier to hold back pounding waves. But even such heroes could not fight alone. Isolated patches lost their genetic diversity and their natural ability to recover. The soil was visibly turning into lifeless mass. Salt and heavy metals wiped out the bacteria that roots needed for nutrition and fresh air. Young shoots died one after another. Even if they managed to break through the poisonous silt, they quickly weakened from a lack of oxygen and nutrients. Scientists needed nothing short of a miracle. Reviving a coastline beaten down by heat, salt and oil pollution seemed impossible. Years of hard work brought only frustration, yet over time, something incredible finally happened. Enter the fiddler crabs, engineers the size of a coin. These tiny creatures turned out to be the land's saviours. Their claws dug through the soil like miniature excavators, loosening dense silt and filling it with air. Scientists from King Abdullah University decided to test a bold idea. Could such tiny creatures save an entire forest? This marked the beginning of a groundbreaking experiment. In nature, about 30 crabs typically live on a single square metre. But researchers made the density 4 times higher, releasing 120 individuals. Then they began their observations. Within weeks, the results stunned everyone. The soil transformed into a porous layer, like Swiss cheese, with tunnels reaching depths of 30 centimetres. The soil chemistry changed dramatically. Acidity rose by 1 point, and salinity dropped by nearly 12%, giving roots a chance to breathe. Beneficial bacteria began multiplying rapidly. Microorganisms that produce iron for plants increased many times over. Even skeptics changed their minds because the number of surviving young trees jumped by 70%. But their role went beyond digging tunnels. As they scuttled across the silt, crabs carried seeds on their shells and spread them across the land. The burrows turned into natural greenhouses. Inside, seeds gained moisture, oxygen, and protection from threats. It was a perfect delivery system. The tireless crabs moved future trees to safe spots. The experiment sparked huge attention. Officials and ecologists developed a massive plan to resettle millions of fiddler crabs along lifeless shores where mangroves once thrived. At this point, economics stepped in. It turned out that a single mangrove tree can absorb 1.5 tons of carbon dioxide in its lifetime. This gave companies an opportunity to sell pollution credits. Each tree now began generating profit. Oil corporations, of course, got involved, the very same ones that had been destroying nature for decades. Facing massive fines for emissions, they realised that investing in restoration would be cheaper and more profitable than paying taxes. So oil tycoons decided to support saving nature. Thanks to this cooperation, within just 3 years, 13 million mangroves were planted. Once barren land was transformed, alive again with the rustle of leaves. Tourism companies joined in as well. A new project called Red Sea Island invested about $100 million into ecotourism, drawing travellers to emerald green mangrove forests. Fishermen were the first to feel the change. Their catches grew by 1/3. Fish returned to the mangrove roots after being gone for decades. Children from fishing villages witnessed the transformation. Just 3 years ago, they had watched crabs crawl over dead land. Today they run among thick mangroves that already tower higher than people. But the threats have not disappeared. The climate still changes. Each year the coastal waters grow warmer, and one day even the strongest mangroves may not withstand it. Scientists are racing against time. They are breeding and testing thousands of tree varieties to find the ones most resistant to extreme heat. Modern technology has turned the fight for nature into something like thrilling science fiction. International investors now line up to buy Saudi green bonds. The crab revolution transformed ecology into the most profitable business after oil. Every dollar invested brings an 800% return. Nature became more profitable than any stock. Tiny creatures the size of a coin opened a new era. From a country once destroying nature for oil, Saudi Arabia has turned into a pioneer of green technology. These little beings proved that even the smallest heroes can change the world. They showed a simple truth: humanity's greatest problems sometimes find solutions in the most unexpected ways. Subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts.